Kurosawa. I mean, my gosh, he's one of those directors you have to see one of his films, right?
Yeah, we haven't talked about Kurosawa on the show.
I
don't think ever yet.
Oh my god,
Good
I'm
start,
sorry.
though.
Oh, that's a good start, right? It's my personal favorite. Let's do it. Let's talk about Throne of Blood.
Welcome back to the show,
Yeah.
everybody. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle Goethe from GoatFilmReviews.com.
Hey, I'm Nick from the St. Paul Filmcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for finding us. Hey, we do have a Patreon. Check that out for some great deals and opportunities for you to pick the movie we talk about. And, of course, a shout-out to you as well. And, of course, we're going to talk about Kurosawa because we haven't talked about... Oh, my God. We haven't even talked about a lot of his movies. It's Throne of Blood. What's going on?
Yeah, Kurosawa went to McDonald's and asked for a Macbeth. When samurai warrior Washizu is given a prophecy from a spirit, his scheming wife Asaji pushes him to kill and replace his lord in a bid for power, throwing the entire estate into turmoil.
Okay, why do I really attach to this movie more than any of the other movies? It's the deceitment that it feels like nothing is moving in this movie while everything is moving. It feels like there's nothing going on, everything is standing still, and that is a lie. There's constant movement in this movie. You're just thinking that it's static.
One part of that will always be the fact that Shakespeare had to focus on singular characters in rooms for a lot of his work because you couldn't have a battle scene that has hundreds of people. You couldn't do a movie like you could here.
But
I
that's
think it's such
showing
a peculiar way.
And that is definitely showing off when you put birds in the room. And
Oh, yeah.
that is very showy. That's how clever. It's like, I'll show you how to make a movie.
Yeah.
And then the arrows at the end, right? Yeah.
But you've got something like Macbeth, which I don't think was even available in Japan to read until like the 1850s, and then of course was outlawed during World War II because it wasn't Japanese. So Kurosawa wanted to make a Macbeth movie and actually delayed his because Orson Welles had that 1948 film coming out and he didn't want them out at the same time. It was going to be his follow-up to Rashomon. It ended up being his follow-up, I believe, to Akiru.
Yeah, because Hidden Fortress comes after this one.
Yeah, and that was part of his whole thing was he wanted to make this Hidden Fortress and Yojimbo for Toho Studios.
Yeah.
And they were all going to be directed by different directors, and then he ended up directing all three. So I think it had to do with budget. They knew he was a producer, step in and directed, and I think he made. What's crazy is those are three of his most iconic films.
Yeah, it's interesting because Macbeth is one of my favorite stories, Shakespeare stories. It's quick and fast, but it's also the bloodiest. But also, it's the deceitment that, guys, if you just listen to me, we just got to kill a lot of people and let me in charge, and I'll figure everything out.
Yeah.
Just let me kill everybody and let me be in charge, and then everything be right in the world. It's that delusion kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But also, he gets his wife is the enabler.
It's the idea that he is a character at Macbeth, or in this case, Washizu, is told you're going to be the one in charge. And he somehow thinks that's a good thing. You know, he has this kind of blind faith, and part
Here's
of it is
this one evil witch. It feels like it. I think the other version is called the Spiderweb Castle, and she's in the
that's the
spiderweb
title,
kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and you've got the wife then that kind of pushes him because she wants the power, but she's also kind of unhinged, and you're not really sure in this version if she is or not.
Yeah.
What's so great about it though is I'm so tired of people saying you can't remake something. I know this isn't exactly a remake, but it is another adaptation of Macbeth.
Feels like
film,
inspired.
and it is such a Kurosawa film. It is such a unique lens to which to do this.
Yeah.
That's the kind of remake that can really work. And so I'm tired of people saying you can't remake stuff, you can't do other adaptations. Orson Welles' version was good enough. Then you wouldn't have had something like this.
Right. And it gets very showy when it needs to be showy, but also pulls back. I do like the beginning of the play, Macbeth comes from battle, but they show the battle here.
Yeah. That's the one difference, and that's what I like about good adaptation is don't just show me the play in a film, show me the play as a film. Yeah. Give me the battles, give me the larger scale because you can afford it. This was actually one of the most expensive films in Japan to make at the time. Yeah. And I think it shows in that 1957 kind of a way. It's a grand scale.
I mean, I think what's the catalyst of what everybody champions is the archers shooting arrows at him as he runs in through the.
Yeah,
right. And the trick is that the points they're supposed to stick, but they're not going to penetrate his armor. So they're really shooting arrows at him.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Real arrows. I have to wonder if Toshiro Mifune was warned.
Right. His face looks like it wasn't. Right.
But this is a case too where you have a film that is not 100% accurate to the source material, but it is spiritually accurate.
Right.
It feels like I'm watching Macbeth.
Yeah, and it's not three witches; it's one.
Yeah. Changes were made, but I don't think any of those changes sacrifice the adaptation itself. He's getting the same feeling across that he would have with this. He's just doing it with his own personal flavor. And the style of No Style, which is a very much like kind of an alternative to Kabuki. It is a bit more, from what I read, it was a bit more spiritualist kind of stuff, and you can see that in the film. There's a lot more masks, and you can see the spiritual presences kind of carrying masks as the film goes on. There's a high definition on like props and costume, and just kind of that kind of a vibe, and you can see that pervaded throughout the film. And it's interesting that this would be the first, I believe, the first of 3 Shakespeare adaptations that he would do.
Okay.
Again, following up The Bad Sleep Well, which was a take on Hamlet, and Rand, which was a take on King Lear. Macbeth being one of my 3 favorite Shakespeare films. I'm big on Shakespeare tragedies.
King Lear. This is a King Lear game.
King Lear, Othello, and Macbeth. I like the pain and torture.
Of course you do, right? But scope, I do like all the camera angle choices. I do like when he goes out to everybody down in the the balcony scene, and he looks down, but he turns and he's actually messed in his mind. He's in his mind. He's doomed.
He's very much. If I just put my finger in one more dam, I'll keep the flood at bay. Like this will be it. This will solve the problem. Yeah. And that scene where he goes out there is so incredible, because I'm not sure if it was done against like against a screen or something like that. Because I mean the characters on the ground stop moving a little bit, and so you kind of get that like unfeelty viewpoint. Yeah. But it was hard for me to figure out exactly how they were accomplishing it, because it was just, again, such a grandiose look for this man who is at his wit's end.
Right. And it's just wonderful to see the slow descent, because you think like, oh, how can this be Macbeth? You understand, you think his choices are rational. Mm-hmm. But then as soon as he talks to his wife and she's putting all these bad ideas in his brain, they can see the slow descent.
Yep. Yeah, in many ways, Washizu is a weak man. He is a very weak man. He is easily molded by the idea of prophecy, easily molded by the idea that his wife thinks less of him if he doesn't do this.
Yep.
And that's a very Macbethian kind of thing. And
right. Macbeth
always does that so well. Yeah, he plays weak.
Yeah, it always talks about masculinity. Mm-hmm. Macbeth is the ultimate about masculinity. Yeah. Right.
When people say like stuff wasn't, art wasn't political 10 years ago, it's like Macbeth was all about like this kind of toxic masculinity thing where he was having it placed on him that you are a weak man. You are incapable of doing it if you do not go out and kill your lord. It's all in there. And I think it showcases a really tragic character, because again, Mifune makes me like him, even though I've never liked Macbeth as a character. He's such an ass.
He's wormy, very slimy and wormy.
Very much, yeah.
Right, and he's very conniving. And it played out very well for Throne of Blood.
Yeah, I think so. And one last thing I really wanted to notate was I love the production design in this film.
Oh, right.
It's you said it a lot. There's people standing around talking in rooms a lot because it's Shakespeare. So you have to win with things like cinematography, and I love the ghostly, ethereal look to the film. Yeah. I'm big on when Kurosawa gets a little spiritual. So I love things like Kakamusha with all the dream sequences.
And it's very like, is there like a nice calm day? No, there's never a nice calm day. Like it's always the wind.
There's rain.
There's rain. There's wind all the time. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you have this amazing looking set piece. This wonderful castle that was actually built on Mount Fuji.
It looks fantastic.
And they had United States Marines who were camped out nearby actually help with the construction of this set. They built it in sections as opposed to just having a facade that they were going to film in front of. They actually built this like wonderful set piece. And it makes all those scenes pop. It makes the scenes pop where the character's holding the guy's head and you're like, I don't want to see it, but I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, I love those kind of plays. Like, let's see. So, what do you think of our assessment of Throne of Blood?
Yeah, leave us your thoughts down in the comment section below, as well as your favorite Akira Kurosawa film. Yeah. If that's Throne of Blood, sure. If not, it might be something we'll cover next time.
Sure.
We've only covered one. And so if you're disappointed in that, you can join the Patreon and say, hey, I got a couple Kurosawas for you. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. You can check out my reviews over at goatfilmreviews.com, where we've got a bunch of Miss Biff reviews, as well as some cool new releases from Severin Video over there.
Thanks for watching.